Test? Okay, cool. Hey, guys. Hey. If you don't own your money, if you don't self-custody your Bitcoin, you don't own your money. You own an IOU. So in Bitcoin, possession is 100% of the law. If you don't own your Bitcoin keys, you're not a Bitcoiner. You're a Bitcoin investor. You're someone with Bitcoin exposure. If you don't own your money, you don't own yourself. So money is a representation of your time, your energy, your labor, your thoughts. So if you don't own your money, someone else owns you. I love this quote by Ayn Rand. Money demands of you the highest virtues if you wish to keep it or make it. Men who have no courage, pride, or self-esteem, men who have no moral sense of their rights to their money and are not willing to defend their money as they defend their life, men who apologize for being rich will not remain rich for long. They're the natural bait for the swarms of looters that sway on the rocks for centuries, but come crawling out at the first smell of a man who begs to be forgiven for the guilt of owning money. They will hasten to relieve him of the guilt and of his life, as he deserves. So why should we care about self-custody and ownership of Bitcoin? Well, as a Bitcoin investor, as a Bitcoiner, you are investing in the value proposition of Bitcoin, which is limited supply, it's permissionless, it's censorship resistant, it's immutable, it's a bearer asset, it offers transactional privacy, it offers security, and is decentralized. But these properties, you only can benefit from them if you are holding your own keys. So as a Bitcoin investor who's not holding your own keys, you're investing in the concept that these are valuable attributes of money, but you are yourself not benefiting from those attributes of money. So that's a paradox. As a person who is a Bitcoin advocate, I care about other people self-custodying their Bitcoins because I don't need other people to self-custody their Bitcoins for me to benefit from these properties. But I care because I feel like Bitcoiners have a moral imperative or moral drive to empower and liberate others. That's probably why a lot of us are here. There is also a selfish desire to protect Bitcoin because the more people are self-custodying their Bitcoins, the more robust and decentralized Bitcoin is. We also want to keep the Lightning Network more decentralized, and for that, you need a lot of people using Lightning Network to be self-custodial. My reputation as a Bitcoiner also, if I'm promoting Bitcoin, I want to promote something that has the correct ethical principles. I also, as a Bitcoin advocate, I have a love for a good user experience, and as we'll see, the non-custodial user experience is definitely the most powerful one. Exchange wallets suck, right? So a lot of people are using exchanges as their Bitcoin wallets. So typically, you'll see millions of people have a Binance account, and they'll be using their Binance wallet as their day-to-day wallet, but this offers zero privacy. Very few of these exchange wallets offer Lightning. They're not reliable. Exchanges go offline. A lot of these exchanges are implementing what's called the travel rule. So when you're sending Bitcoin to someone, you need to give the information of the recipients to the exchange. There's withdrawal limits and KYC. There's all sorts of chain analysis control. So maybe you're receiving a Bitcoin payment in your exchange wallet and it gets frozen because that coin was deemed to be tainted or something. There's no coin selection on exchanges, no pay join, it's terrible privacy. There's always very high fees on exchanges. Exchanges are always kind of like highballing the fees. You don't have any fee control. You can't do replace by fee acceleration of your transaction or child pays for parent. Exchange wallets are not portable. Bitcoin wallets, you can take your seed, import it into another wallet. With an exchange wallet, obviously, it's not portable. The recovery, if you lose access to your account on an exchange or if you die, the recovery, it's a legal process instead of being an easy, practical process. When you're making a payment from an exchange account to someone else, you don't have control over the situation. For example, if I send payments to someone and the fee wasn't high enough, I can bump that transaction. Or I can, cancel a payment with RBF. With an exchange account, you can't do that. Every time something is wrong with your wallet, you need to ask someone in customer support instead of just Googling the answer to your problem and fixing it. And you don't have access to advanced scripts or transaction types. So exchange accounts just generally suck. So, if we go so if you go back here, there are some like ethical principles to why you should care about self-custody, but there's also practical elements, which is that custodial wallets, usually the exchange wallets, they just generally suck. So what is self-custody? How is self-custody? It's actually very easy. Okay, there's 5 steps to self-custodying. You download an app, you write down 12 words, you protect your phone or device with a PIN, you protect your backup, like you make a backup and you make sure no one steals it, or you add a passphrase, and you have a plan for if you die, So it's really not that complicated. So, on the meme, normal distribution scale, it really is easy as writing down 12 words if you're like, on the beginner side or on the low IQ side or something. And on the, more advanced, down the rabbit hole, you can have hardware, wallets, multi-sig, redundant backups connected to your own node, and, now you can have like, fancy scripts for recovery and all that. But it really is as easy as writing down 12 words for most people. How do people lose their Bitcoins? So I've been helping onboard people to Bitcoin for 10 years, and I've had a lot of face-to-face interactions, multiple thousands of people I've onboarded to Bitcoin. And I was running a help desk in Montreal, a physical help desk for 5 years. So whenever someone had an issue with Bitcoin, they would call me, they'd come to my office. So the #1 way that people lose their Bitcoins, by far, is that a custodian loses or steals their money. It can be something like, FTX, where they took people's funds and they invested it in some shitcoin scheme or something like that. It can be incompetence, they got hacked. It can be fraud, just like, straight up stealing your money. It can be a legal thing where your coins get frozen because, you're on the list or something. It can be that your custodian, you trust your exchange, but your custodian's custodian actually had a problem. It was an example of BlockFi that had their money on FTX. A lot of these exchanges, they don't actually hold your money. Someone else is holding the money for the exchange, and the exchange is holding the money for you. The coins, people's coins get locked on exchanges for multiple reasons all the time. The second way people lose their money is their exchange account gets hacked. This is exceedingly common. Either it's a SIM swap, this has happened over and over, a phishing email where you click and you put your password and your funds are gone, or you just had a shitty password on your exchange account with no 2FA, and that gets stolen. The third way that people lose their money is they invest in a shitcoin scam. That's very common, or a Ponzi scheme, or a cloud mining scheme. The last real way is people lose their backup, or they forget their passphrase. But it's really your one and only job not to lose your backup. A mobile or desktop wallet getting hacked is exceedingly rare. I've personally never had a single person come to me and say, my mobile wallet got hacked. It is a very, very rare occurrence. So it really is the custodian steals your money, or your custodial exchange account gets hacked. So why don't people self-custody? If it's as easy as writing down 12 words, why don't they self-custody? And that's the problem or question that I've been trying to solve pretty much my whole adult life and have been obsessed with. So we really have to think about the way that a new person experiences Bitcoin is through the frame or the lens or the process of an exchange. So when people first onboard to Bitcoin, usually they're not getting paid in Bitcoin. They're not, accepting Bitcoin for payments as service. They're buying Bitcoin on an exchange. So you use the frame of I am experiencing Bitcoin for the first time through an exchange process, and people, they just don't know any better, right? So a lot of people are not aware that self-custody is an option because they're coming through a traditional investor's background where you buy stocks or something like that, and it's done. The concept of self-custody is just not something that they even know is possible. The default user experience of an exchange is always custodial. So you go to an exchange, you send money, you click buy, and it's kind of like the user story ends there. You get your dopamine hit when you buy Bitcoin, not when you withdraw. So that whole experience is framed to get the user to buy Bitcoin, but after the user buys, because the exchange makes money when you buy Bitcoin, not when you withdraw. So that's where the user exchange is being framed. A lot of people want just like one single app. They don't like using 2 apps. So, they want all of their Bitcoin stuff to be in one mobile app. It's kind of a boomer mentality, I guess, maybe a little bit. But it is a lot of people, they just want one app. A lot of people are intimidated by Bitcoin. So put yourself in the shoes of a normie. First, they're already stressed out from their investment in the Bitcoin price. Copy and pasting an address from one wallet to another gives people heart attacks. They're afraid to make a mistake. And they read, Binance's self-custody FUD tweets where, some influencers are saying that self-custody is bad. So they're intimidated. There's a lot of friction associated to withdrawing Bitcoin from an exchange. Some exchanges require you to provide a proof of ownership that you own the receiving address where the Bitcoins are being sent to. So you have to sign a message from your wallet and give that to the exchange. That's hard. There's a withdrawal fee. Some exchanges they require additional KYC for you to withdraw. There's withdrawal limits, and there's address whitelisting. You need to register one address with the exchange to withdraw. A lot of people are also impatient when they buy Bitcoin. They just want to buy Bitcoin now because the price is going up. A lot of people are lazy. So they first buy Bitcoin, and then they say, oh, I'll do it another day, I'll do it another day, I'll do my research, and then eventually they just obviously end up not withdrawing. The other day never comes until it's too late. They're also undecided, so they've made the decision to buy Bitcoin, but then they have to choose a wallet. They don't know which one to use. A lot of people use exchange like a bank account, so they have their Bitcoin account and they have their debit card linked to the exchange, and they're paying their utility bills from the exchange. So they're using an exchange kind of like a traditional bank account. Some people don't want to self-custody. Either they trust the exchange or they just don't want the responsibility. I'm not interested in those kinds of people at all. I'm interested in people who want to take that responsibility. And some people, they want to do day trading. So the idea of making deposits and withdrawal every time you make a trade, that's kind of a more legitimate reason, I guess, not to self-custody. But really think about the fact that people suffer from path dependency. So that first onboarding experience, that first way they experience Bitcoin through the exchange, the custodial experience, is going to be part of their habit. And it's really hard for people to break their habits in the future. So it really is that first onboarding session with the exchange that causes them to become custodial. Because obviously, if you're signing up someone to Bitcoin yourself and sending them Bitcoin, you're not going to, you're going to help them install a wallet. There's also a lot of challenges with self-custody with the Lightning Network. So typically, if you want to be self-custodial using Lightning, you need to run your own node, which is not a trivial thing to do. You need to manage Lightning Network channels, so you need to have inbound liquidity before you can first receive a payment. That means that you need to coordinate with some other node on the network that's going to open a channel with you. And if you need outbound, if you want to do payments, you need outbound liquidity. That's easier. In Lightning Network, there's also an issue of backups. So not only do you have to back up your mnemonic, your seed, your 12 words, you also need to back up Lightning Network state channels. And these need to be backed up regularly, as opposed to on-chain where you just have one backup at the beginning and you're fine. And there's other considerations. For example, using Lightning Network addresses LNURL, very difficult to do that if you're running your it's much easier to do if you're just using Blink or Wallet of Satoshi. So how has my company Bull Bitcoin solved this? Well, obvious answer is that we're a non-custodial exchange. So we force our users to have their own Bitcoin wallets before they can buy Bitcoin. On Bull Bitcoin, if you are placing a trade, the first thing we ask is for your Bitcoin address. You simply cannot go through the process without having a Bitcoin address. And that comes from our origin story, which is that we were running a Bitcoin ATM and a physical trading desk. And someone would walk into our office with cash. They would buy Bitcoin. They would leave, and we would help them do their backup. And they would leave being a self-custodial user. And to me, that was just a fully integrated Bitcoin experience where you come in with cash and you come out as a sovereign Bitcoin individual. So as an exchange, we provide support for a lot of external apps. So we have tutorials on how to use Blue Wallet, how to use Wasabi, how to use Sparrow, how to use all sorts of self-custodial wallets. We also have our own enterprise non-custodial wallet infrastructure. But there is still onboarding friction. If you're trying to buy Bitcoin on Bull Bitcoin, it's not like the other exchanges where you just click buy. You need to actually do some work before setting up your own wallet. So that does create additional friction. And our goal is not to sell numbers on a screen. Our goal is not to allow people to get exposure to the Bitcoin price. Our goal is to transform the Virgin exchange account user into a Chad sovereign Bitcoiner. So we want to create sovereign individuals. That's our company mission. So thought a lot about how to streamline this, how to make this exchange experience a lot better. And I'm going to share with you kind of the result of all of my experience operating a non-custodial exchange and what we have decided to do in the future. So imagine that you're a new Bitcoin user. Someone tells you, hey, you should buy Bitcoin, go on Bull Bitcoin, and download this app. You download an app, and this is what you see. Typical of an exchange, you have a fiat currency account, you have a Bitcoin account, and you have, buy and sell. This is your typical Bitcoin exchange experience. As a typical Bitcoin exchange, you're going to start off, and you are going to fund your account with fiat. So if you're in Canada and you use Bull Bitcoin, you can go to any post office and deposit cash at the post office and buy some no KYC sats. Yeah, very easy. Scan the QR code. If you're in Costa Rica, I'm going to also plug the fact that Bull Bitcoin has expanded to Costa Rica. You can just simply text some money to a phone number, and within a few seconds, some funds are going to appear in your account. So, you started out with these two accounts. You ended up with some colones, Costa Rican currency, in your fiat account. Again, just like any other exchange. You go to buy Bitcoin, like any other exchange. You put the amount you want to buy. You click confirm. Yes, I want to buy. Cool. You've bought your Bitcoins. You started out with no money. You started out after that with some money in your fiat account. And then you can see that you have some money in your Bitcoin account. Again, like any other exchange, except for one thing. There is a little warning that appears at the top of your app that says, back up your wallet, tap to test your backup. You don't know what that is. You go in there, and you can see that that warning will appear as a notification, and it's just never going to disappear until you actually click it and do it. So what you do is you click this button. You have some instructions. You know what to do. You must back up your wallet. Your funds are at risk. You see that there's 12 words you need to write. You see that you need to test your backup. And then backup tested successfully. So what actually happened here? So what happened is when you downloaded the exchange app, the Bull Bitcoin app, there was a self-custodial wallet that was created on your phone using what's called the Bitcoin Development Kit. When you bought Bitcoin, what happened is your wallet sent one of your addresses to the Bitcoin exchange. You bought the Bitcoin, and the exchange sent that Bitcoin directly to one of the addresses in your Bitcoin wallet. You didn't have to copy and paste anything. You didn't have to interact with a Bitcoin wallet at any time. However, almost instantly, the Bitcoins ended up in your wallet, so you became non-custodial or self-custodial without really even realizing it. It was just part of the flow. That's how the flow works, and that's how you end up. So even though you didn't intend, perhaps in the first place, to become self-custodial, or you didn't know that was an option, sorry, but that's what happened. You are now a self-custodial Chad sovereign Bitcoin user. So let's say that you want to, you're going down this is your first experience as a Bitcoiner, but you start to go on Twitter and, you start to listen to BTC Sessions podcast or something, and you go down the rabbit hole, and you decide that you want more. You want to add a hardware wallet. So, you go to the Add New Wallet. You click Import Wallet. You see that there's a cold card. You have your cold card. You activate the NFC. You tap your hardware wallet to your phone. And then we're going to detect that you have a wallet. Perhaps there's already some funds on it. You import your wallet into your exchange app, your hardware wallet, the public part of your hardware wallet. And of course, it just pops up on your app. You can see that you already have transactions. If you want to buy Bitcoins, again, buy Bitcoin, select the amount. Destination wallet, you just select your cold card. Confirm, you buy, that's it. The funds are sent instantly from your exchange account to your cold storage. You didn't have to go through, a third-party app like Sparrow, which is great. You didn't have to copy and paste any addresses. It just happened in the background. The funds went straight from the exchange directly to your cold storage. Awesome. How do we scale this? You've seen the mempool today. Fees are very, very high. So this obviously is a great option for people that are buying thousands of dollars or something. But what if you want to buy like $20 worth of Bitcoin? How can we scale the self-custodial trading experience? Well, imagine again, you download the app, and instead of just having your fiat account and your Bitcoin account, you also have a Lightning Network account. You don't know what that is, right? Again, you go to buy Bitcoin. This time, you're buying 10,000 colones. That's like $20 US. The app knows how much you're buying, and it's automatically selecting the Lightning Network based on the amount, because it's a small amount. So you don't necessarily have to make that decision as to, am I doing on-chain or Lightning? It's just Lightning. You can choose on-chain if you really want, but by default, it's just going to be Lightning. All you have to do is confirm. Again, green screen, bing, transaction sent. You go back to your home page. and you see that you have some funds in your Lightning Network wallet. So, and then you're curious, so you start to look at the settings and all that, and you can see that there's channel management, there's outbound capacity, you can swap in and swap out, but you don't need to necessarily experience any of those settings. All you're doing is you're buying Bitcoin, and it's just appearing in your Lightning Network wallet on your phone. So what the fuck just happened? What is happening here is we're seeing the beginning of what the future of self-custody for Exchange is going to look like. So what happened in the background here, technically speaking? So the app, the Bull Bitcoin app, is launching a node on behalf of the user. There's two ways to do this technically. So either the node, the Lightning node, is running on the device, on the person's phone. This is the case for example, Mutiny or BitKit, Phoenix, and Zeus. They have a full node running on their phone. You can also have a remote node, which is basically that the app launched a node on someone else's server. In this case, Blockstream is offering the service of hosting nodes. But the keys to the Lightning Network node are still on the device. So either the full node is running on your device or the full node is running on a server. But even if it's running on a server, it's encrypted with your private keys on your phone and can only be accessed with the private keys on your phone. When you try to buy Bitcoin on the exchange, you did not have any inbound liquidity. You don't know what inbound liquidity is. So how can you receive funds if you don't have inbound liquidity? Well, in the Lightning Network ecosystem, we have something called a Lightning service provider. So this is a service that will basically in this case, Bull Bitcoin is trying to send the Lightning Network payments to your wallet. We can see that there is no channel. You don't have any inbound liquidity to receive it, so we send a notification to a Lightning service provider. We say, hey, open a channel with one of my users. He's trying to buy Bitcoin but doesn't have a channel. We send the payment to the user, routing through the LSP, and this happens instantly, right? Using a technique called just-in-time channels. The Lightning service provider opens a Lightning Network channel to the user and pushes the funds right away. The user doesn't have to wait for any confirmation in order to receive the funds. It's kind of a semi-trusted thing where technically the Lightning service provider could double spend you until the channel is confirmed, but still it's happening instantly. You don't have to manage any channel. Some of the Lightning Network magic has to do with, so how do you deal with the Lightning Network graph? In the case of LDK, Lightning Dev Kit, if you have a node running on your phone, you need to have something called rapid gossip sync, blah, 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 some technical stuff. And encrypted channel backups are also an important part of the magic, where typically in this kind of infrastructure setup, your Lightning Network backup is going to be encrypted by the private keys of your phone, and is going to be hosted on a third-party server. So the backup is hosted on a third-party server, but it's encrypted with your private keys from your phone, so nobody else can have access to it. But if you lose your device or something like that, you can always recover from a third-party hosted backup provider. And you have swap providers, which allow users to move from Bitcoin to Lightning. Bolts is a common non-custodial service that allows people to exchange on-chain coins for Lightning coins. I also just mentioned that the same seed, the same mnemonic, can be used for an on-chain wallet and a Lightning wallet. So typically, you only really have to back up one set of 12 words, and you can derive an unlimited amount of wallets from one 12 words. So you have one job, you write down the 12 words, and that really is all you have to do. That's the main difference between the custodial and non-custodial experience. That's the one thing that we cannot abstract away. We can't remove this backup component. So closing the loop, so obviously we've shown how to buy Bitcoin using a non-custodial, self-custodial setup. Here, for example, you want to sell Bitcoin. Okay, you click on Sell Bitcoin. You put the amount. Which wallet do you want to sell Bitcoin from? You select the wallet. Okay, do you want to sell this amount of Bitcoin? You click Send, and boom. You now have funds in your fiat account, and the Bitcoins were deducted from your Bitcoin wallet. But what really happened in the background is that the Bitcoin wallet got a deposit address from the exchange, created a transaction, the Bitcoin wallet sent the money to the exchange. All you had to do was put the amount and click confirm, but your wallet did an actual transaction. So the kind of experience is you basically moved funds from your fiat account to your Bitcoin account, from your Bitcoin account to your fiat account, just like if it was numbers on a screen on a custodial exchange. But there is a real Bitcoin transaction happening in the background with most of the complexity, I hope, abstracted away, like is the case on custodial exchanges, which is why custodial exchanges are presumably so easy and nice to use. And I just want to show a cool use case that you can do. So imagine you have a cold card and you are either a business or you're an OG or something, and you want to pay someone with Bitcoin. You want to pay your bills with Bitcoin, or you want to pay an employee with Bitcoin. Well, you go into the Bull Bitcoin app, you click I want to pay a bill, I choose my recipient, I put the amount, and I select that I want to pay it with my cold card. The wallet is going to create a transaction. It's going to create a partially signed Bitcoin transaction. I take my wallet, I tap it with NFC to my cold card, and then boom. Bitcoin is sent. The Bitcoin went from my cold card to the bank account of an employee without you having to use any other app than your regular day-to-day Bitcoin exchange app. So what are the reasons not to self-custody? People don't know any better. Well, in this case, they don't have to know any better. It's just the default user experience. They're impatient. They just want to click on buy Bitcoin. Same thing. You just fund your account, click on buy Bitcoin. You're lazy, you're undecided, we made that decision for you. We created a wallet on your behalf. You don't, if you're scared, you're not even going to realize necessarily that you're taking self-custody, so until it's too late. But it is what we're going to do. Running a node on your phone is solved. Channel liquidity management is solved. Lightning backups is solved. Having fiat banking features within your Bitcoin wallet is solved. Having multiple fiat currencies and Bitcoin currencies in your wallet, having Bitcoin accounts is also solved. So future of self-custody is now. Very happy to announce that we have released the Bull Bitcoin wallet on the Google Play Store today. So the app is fully open source under an MIT license. This is what we have right now. So there's multiple wallets. You have BIP39 passphrase, backup warnings and testing like you saw on the demo. Cold card integration is there. We have advanced UTXO labeling and coin select. We actually spent a lot of time to make sure that you can have proper coin labeling and coin selection so that it's also a semi-privacy-oriented wallet. We have BIP329 labels export. You can connect to your own node. We use the mempool space software to have smart fee algorithm. We have currency conversion. You can download it and test it right now. It's just the status. It's just a really good on-chain wallet. And what's coming up next is iOS. We're going to be adding the Bull Bitcoin trading features that you saw in this demo. We haven't done the Lightning Network node integration. That's what we're working on right now. We're going to do a pay-join integration, and we're going to have pay-join by default for every user that is doing a transaction between the Bull Bitcoin wallet and the Bull Bitcoin exchange. It's going to be by default a pay-join transaction, so you're going to be effectively doing a coin join every time you sell Bitcoin. Multi-sig wallets are coming. A lot of cool stuff is coming. And just last thoughts on the role of exchanges in self-custody. It's not just an educational role. Exchanges have a really important part to play in self-custody. Exchanges are already monetizing their user. So I'm already making money from the user. That's a problem that a lot of wallets have. The wallets, they have a bunch of users, but they don't know how to make money off of this. This is not a problem that exchanges have. So it makes if an exchange is doing this kind of wallet, they don't have to worry about how I'm going to monetize my open source project. We're already making money. LSPs, exchanges, are already trusted by the user. And LSPs need to be someone trusted by the user. Exchanges have a legal relationship with the user. They have dedicated support staff. Exchanges typically have a lot of money, like Bitcoin liquidity. An exchange can run a Lightning service provider software specifically for its users without charging them fees, because we're already making money from the user. I see exchanges running LSPs as being like a key part of the future of Lightning self-custody. Exchanges can do something that's called a key server, becoming a key server. So I'm going to just show you really quickly what a key server looks like. I know I'm out of time, but let's say that you have a mnemonic backup and you want to have that backup hosted in the cloud. That's a terrible idea. Even if you encrypt that backup and put it in the cloud, chances are that you're going to have a very bad password. If you have a very, very, very strong password, it's perfectly safe to have a copy of your mnemonic, not perfectly safe, but if you have a very, very strong password, it can be safe to have your mnemonic hosted in your own Google Drive or in your own iCloud. So there's a concept called Photon. I'm going to skip over the technicals because I'm out of time. But technically, an exchange can provide a service where the exchange is keeping a copy of your backup encryption key. So if you lose your access to your device, you can get the encrypted mnemonic from your own Google Cloud, and you can get the decryption key from a key server. This is a concept called Photon. But this is just to give you an idea that exchanges already have business relationship with their users, so they might as well use that relationship to offer value-added services that are related to Bitcoin custody. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was great.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you.